Good evening. It's Wednesday, August 20th, 2025. Calling the Lakeville Board of Health meeting to order. Is there anyone recording this other than LakeCAM? I see no one in the audience recording this. And LakeCAM is recording it. I don't believe it is live tonight, but it will be shown at a later date. First on the agenda, 4 Water Street. Meet with Zenith Consulting Engineers to discuss requested local upgrade approvals.
I'm gonna recuse myself because I own the property next door.
Okay. Bob recused himself. I'll turn it over to you, Jamie.
Sure. Good evening, Jamie Bissonette, Zenith Consulting Engineers, for the record. We have a septic repair. This application has an advanced treatment unit with a stone and pipe leaching field off of a D-box. We're asking for 3 local upgrade approvals. The separation from the inverts to groundwater, the local upgrade for the system sizing, and a reduction in the separation from 5 feet to 3 feet to seasonal high water. We're proposing no increase in flow. The system itself is pinned in the back away from the driveway in the back corner, straight shot. I believe Ed and Will worked out the seasonal high groundwater based off of some USGS calculations. So I think it's got belt and suspenders on that end. Besides that, I don't think there's really much for me to discuss unless you want me to get into how the advanced treatment works or any questions about the pump.
Okay, I guess I'll just ask Ed first. I know this is a revised plan we just received. So you're okay with the revision of the adjusted where they
Yeah, no,
they raised it like 1.5 feet almost, right?
Yeah, I reviewed it and I'm okay with it. And like I said, I think it was just an error somewhere and they corrected it. But I have no issues with the plan, with the groundwater or with the plan.
Okay. I looked through it. I didn't have any questions. That tank, it is a mono. We did determine that spec because it doesn't say mono on the septic.
It does. So it appears to be a mono low profile tank.
Okay.
And as discussed, we'll reach out to Lauren at JNR Sales and confirm that there's the 10-inch minimum or that it meets the requirements for the fast unit.
Okay. Do you have any, I know I think one of these have already gone in. I haven't installed one of these low pros where they cut the legs in the bottom of the treatment. Is it still over the 10 inches in the bottom of the tank? Do you know any specifics on that? I know there's no cut sheet they submit or anything.
No, I don't know offhand. I mean, I can try to find out for the future.
Yeah. Jamie, I asked Jamie. And
Yeah,
he was
I'll see if Lauren will give us something in writing, but I do believe it'll be a case-by-case thing because this is this specific tank, so we can't be sure another low profile will meet it. If this one does.
Yeah.
So we'll get confirmation.
And reading that note 4 under the microfast notes, that's what that represents? Am I reading that correctly?
So yeah, if you look at our sheet up top too, we should actually have 10-inch minimum shown on the profile. So that, I believe you are correct that is the case.
And then over in those notes on note 4,
Note 4, yep.
it says,
It's
if
not
minimum-
super clear, but.
yeah, if minimum of 10 inches is used,
Mhm.
you need 20% bigger, but so it's not used? Is that the way I read it? I couldn't really.
I think they're saying if
Okay.
you're over 10 inches that you're okay, and that if you're under 10 inches that you need to up the size of the tank by 20%.
So that's
I've
what
never
I
run
read.
into this case because we've never needed a low profile tank before. But in this case, because of the elevation of everything, where the pipe comes
Yes.
out, burying the tank, groundwater, everything else, we use the low profile to try to minimize that impact of it. So.
Right. Which
if
I do
not-
agree with. I think if it works.
Yeah,
And
if
you're
not-
saving 8 inches. I think that tank's 6 foot overall. The other tank is 6 foot 8 inches. So they're
Yep.
cutting 8 inches somewhere.
Yep.
I just don't know if it's affecting that measurement.
I think it's a little bit of both. I think they're cutting it in numerous places, 3 inches here, 3 inches there. I think the revision, if we needed it, would be the regular tank pushed down deeper.
But I would assume this is probably.
I think it's
approved,
fine.
seeing
Yes.
it's already gone through their approval.
It-
Right? I
it-
mean, I can't believe.
I don't know why they would make the tank because I don't see how you could use it since the 0.5, the 0.7, 5.9, and 1.0 all require the 1,500 gallon minimum. So it seems like it would be a tank that could never be used. So I do believe it's gonna be fine, but we'll get confirmation in writing for you.
Okay. And we did not need to notify any of the abutters because they weren't anything to do with the abutters.
No?
Chris, do you have any comments or questions?
Nothing like as far as the plan goes. I mean, as always, whenever we get the ask for that extra foot, I'm always, I don't know, I always think long about it,
Mhm.
because of the just, separation of water tables there for a reason. So I always think about that.
It is a good location, as in most of the butters are on Taunton water. So there's not the density of wells in most areas.
That's true too.
And the closest well is over 300 feet away,
Yeah.
so there's no wells close
So yeah,
for that variance.
Yeah, there's nothing jumping out that was making me,
And again, with this revised plan, they've revised the groundwater
Yes.
over 1.5 foot to 9, I think, from the last plan. So I agree to tell the highest at 3 safely, that there's no question, there's no hill. There's no hills or anything this is all flat out there.
It's
correct?
pretty flat lot.
Yeah, so there's no hill coming down to it, there's no embankment,
No.
it just drops off behind the system to the wetlands.
Yeah, and I mean, there is further up Water Street, it kind of comes down the road a little bit, but it's not like on a steep slope. There's just gradual slope in the immediate area.
And I think there's a retention basin even in
There's
between.
there is a drainage basin out to the
between
back.
that
Yep.
Hill and this house actually goes into the basin and comes back up.
Yeah, I'm good.
Is there anyone in the audience like to speak to this one before we make a decision? I see no one.
All right. I'll make a motion, we approve the subsurface sewage disposal system upgrade at 4 Water Street with the 3 local upgrade approvals.
Second, any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you,
Thank
Jamie.
you. Thank you.
We'll wait for Bob to come back in.
You went to the bathroom.
Now it's safe. Just gonna grab this phone so I can-
I think you previously held the record for a number of variances brought here, and now you've just upped it.
Oh, I definitely have it. Yeah. I'm sure that I do. I don't know if this tops the list. We've had some really tight ones.
17, I think. That's the most I can remember, but I
Yeah.
could be wrong.
I have the habit with the Ts when I do a plan, I break out each tank individually.
Ed likes it that way too. He
Yeah.
always
Yeah.
likes
Me
each
too.
tank
I
asked
know,
for.
I know the previous plan had it lumped together. So you go from 2 or 3 to, to 1, so, but I try to break them out individually.
All right, next on the agenda is 135 Staple Shore Road. Meet with Zenith Consulting Engineers LLC to discuss requested local upgrade approvals and variances. Bob had recused himself. We'll just wait for Bob to come back into the room.
Do you want me to poke my head out?
Yeah, is he there or?
I thought he went to.
He was just sitting there, so I think he just went to the bathroom.
That's what I thought.
All right, we good?
Yep.
All right, good evening, Jamie Bissonnette, Zenith Consulting Engineers, for the record. We have a septic upgrade repair for you at 135 Staple Shore Road. The board's, and Ed is very familiar with the bottomless sand filter. This is a bottomless sand filter using an Advantex AX20 unit. This will give denitrification and treatment. It's based on time dose technology, so that's the preferred treatment method. In this case, the property is located on both sides of the street. There's a garage that's to the west on the northern side of the street that we're pumping to. I did the test hole on this, I believe with Larry, years ago, when they were thinking about doing a septic upgrade at that time. John Pink, who I had assisted with that, still had the records, and so did the town, so we utilized the sieve and the soils from then, and came up with this bottomless sand filter design. The one thing that I can tell you that the board will like is we're going from a 3-bedroom to a 2-bedroom. So, I think that that's a benefit. Right now, there is a tight tank in place. We'll be changing that out with this, obviously. I did speak with Attorney Bob Mather. One of the neighbors had some concerns, and rightfully so. So Bob and I had spoken about dealing with the force main that runs up the road. Bob assured us that, yes, we do have the right to do it without need of any easements, but that where we're crossing the force main for the abutter's property, they would like some assurances put into place that we're in agreement with. First of all is when we do cross that line area, we'll make sure that the operator takes great care to not disturb or break the line. I believe Ed does as many inspections as any health agent, and at least either myself or someone from my office will be there to inspect it before it's backfilled. Number 2, you'll notice on the plan that we specify in that area to be backfilled with flowable fill around the pipes. That will stop it from settling so that we won't be getting calls because the soil compacted and put pressure on the pipe to break it.
I was gonna bring that up, that's good.
Yep, so it's kind of belt and suspenders to be able to make sure that there's no headaches. I know my clients don't want headaches, and I know that the neighbors don't want them. This should resolve those issues there. I do believe that there was some issues as well with how the assessors show the lots. I've brought some research on it. If anybody is interested, I can go over that, but we are confident in the ownership of the lots. Would you like to see?
No, I actually confirmed with the assessors, and the assessors owned up to it, they had messed up.
Okay.
So there's nothing wrong with the lots.
Perfect, all right, so, yeah, I chased it down a little bit more just to make sure that, you know, I could show it on plans, and so we definitely feel comfortable with how things are shown. We've already gone through conservation. Conservation did okay it, but we still hadn't had a file number, so we've got to go back to the next meeting. The file number came out 2 days later. We'll go back to the meeting. We feel they'll close it and issue the order. So this is kind of our last stop on this portion of it. That's it.
Just a couple of questions, I guess, we'll just stop back at the bedroom.
Sure.
So there are not 3 bedrooms in the house?
There
or-
are. So they're actually renovating the house. So with the renovation, they're going to be going down to 2 bedrooms inside. So the house will go from 3, which is what's permitted with the tight tank now, is a 3-bedroom. It'll be 2 bedrooms, and we're okay with the deed restriction for that going forward, so there's no confusion.
Okay.
Okay. And I would just have to let them probably know, I don't think there's any going backwards from
No,
that.
I've had that
Like I said,
discussion.
very rarely
This-
anybody ever comes in and offs up a bedroom.
I agree, and we talked about it. So the offset in their advantage was the access to the garage around the system.
Okay.
Plus, they plan on living there for the rest of their lives. You know, they're not gonna sell the lot. So they said resale has no meaning to them on this. We had a long talk about it.
Okay, because it is in a zone A, and
Yep.
if we approve it as a 2-bedroom, I don't see a board giving you back, even though you used to be. I can't speak down the road, but I haven't seen it go the other way.
Yeah,
We're not having any more children.
All right. I
We're
just-
all pencils are on the back.
And the other question, I guess, was the flowable fill. So you're not doing the whole roadway. It's very specific, just over the pipe.
so the
So
intention was to
everybody
do
knows that.
the area where the crossings of the pipe are, with the flowable fill. And the reason being is the concern for us is really right at that intersection. Our pipe, as you can see on the design, is buried deep. So we're burying it over 4 feet deep for frost protection. So we're not worried about our pipe underneath, breaking down, or settling. It's gonna be based down at the bottom of the trench where it still has a nice stable base. From there up, they can compact, and we're not worried about jarring any fittings loose that are crossing it at a higher elevation. So I think that we'll be okay as long as they backfill it and compact it properly, that should be fine the way that it is.
The rest of the trench.
The rest
Where
of the
it
trench.
crosses, you gotta
Yeah,
just-
where you have utility crossings, I
Yeah.
think that it makes sense with the flowable fill.
Yeah, you gotta buy a truckload anyway, so.
Yep, so they'll spread it out to whatever degree, and from that point on,
It goes.
compact.
Yeah, there's a minimum charge, you might as well use it all up.
Exactly, yep.
Yes, I just wanted to clarify that for anybody watching or anybody that lives down there. If they
Yep.
see flowable fill coming just for one little section,
Yep.
they'll understand it was not, because there's is there like 100 feet of main down that
I
road?
think that from start to end, it's about 130 feet.
It's a long ways.
Yep,
But for anybody watching that doesn't know, flowable fill comes out like concrete out of a concrete truck. But it's very stable, it doesn't shrink up. So unlike fill that over time compacts and settles, that doesn't, it stays like concrete, but you can still, you can dig it up if you need to at some point down the road. So it's a much better product and a better way to do things.
yep.
Now, it's hard to tell from your picture, Jamie, where the actual roadway kind of is. Is this like, you're going down center of roadway, you're going down Quarter Point, are you trying to stay off the edge of the road? Where are you running that?
Well, we're actually running,
Just off center.
yeah, it's just off center, honestly. The reason that we started doing that was thinking that the derelict fee statute, with the center line of the road, trying to stay on our half and then getting an easement through the second part and dealing with just one abutter. But Bob Mather said that that wasn't necessary in this case because he's read through the documents of how the road is owned and everybody's rights to the road and court precedent. He actually gave me some great information on it. So when that happened, I was able to just kind of keep it straight and then put in the 45s to help smooth out and reduce pressure on those elbows instead of going with a 90.
So my next question is, now, if you're running center, that road is so narrow, there's no getting around during construction.
Yeah,
Is that
so
correct?
the talk, 100% agree. So the talk with it is gonna have to be, as you're putting in sections, you're gonna have to plate it. There's no question about it. It doesn't matter if you try to go on to just one side either, because if you go on to one side, there's still no passing. Two vehicles going down side by side is a struggle. You have to pull into a driveway or off onto a lawn. It's tough.
It's really a one-car driveway.
It is, I agree. So the placement of it didn't make sense to try to interfere and affect people's landscaping. So trying to stick closer towards the center, I'm less likely to disrupt anybody's property.
Okay. How many houses are beyond this, do you, and offhand, going down that are gonna be affected by shutting that road down and blocking it for a day or several days?
Probably half a dozen or more, maybe 8 or 10.
And I believe to do that, I think, is there any stipulations in that to notify the fire department will have to be notified as you're shutting down a road? I know they-
I'm sure that would have to take place. Also provisions for getting around. I know we're not the first ones to do it, but I'm sure that there's a
Yeah,
procedure.
normally if you cross the road, you can plate it quickly at any second.
Yep,
There's road plates on site, you can
Mhm.
put a plate, get somebody across.
yep.
But where you're going down the road for 130 feet, there's no getting,
I think the actual part in the road's probably 100. From the tank sticking out and then to the field, I think create the other 30 or so feet, but it's still a long run. It's not like a 25-foot across a road. I agree.
I think, something on this type of plan too, I don't know if Ed has any input on it. I mean, I think all the neighbors further would have to be kind of notified prior to
Yeah,
shutting down a
if
road
it's
like
gonna
that. I
take,
mean, you're not gonna be able to get in and out.
Right.
There's-
I think the best thing to do is, once they select a contractor, we get a game plan on how it's gonna be handled, when, and then we can talk with Ed and get a game plan for notification and just keeping everybody posted. But I think, as a condition in the approval might be to do a pre-construction meeting with Ed and make sure that we're all on the same
Yeah,
page
I don't know if
that,
there's any elderly people that live down in there. I mean, if anybody
Sure.
has to
yeah, no,
get
I,
there, they're gonna need notice that it's gonna be shut down.
Yep.
Because you can't plate it to get by
yeah,
as you're running 100 feet.
I can check with the fire department too, if they're
Sure.
okay with it, and, have they dealt with this in the past, and if they have any recommendations or anything like that. if
Yep.
That's an issue.
I know on longer roads, it would shut down before. You'd have to have a fire truck on the other side. I don't believe that would be the case in this one, but you don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, if something happens, you can't get by.
Yeah, you could foresee a situation in which they install section by section and backfill and pull the trench, the plate over as they're working. Again, finding who's gonna do it and how they wanna approach it, and then making sure that it makes sense. You're not gonna leave a 100-foot trench open. I think Ed and I can probably work with them to come and inspect it on a regular basis to keep it safe and keep it moving.
And plate it as you go.
And that's why the conditioning of it, making sure that it's a reasonable, that somebody's not gonna start there and leave it that way for 3 weeks. That makes all the sense in the world. So some conditions about pre-construction, I think, make a lot of sense.
I think that was my main concerns. I mean, we're close to that shared well.
Yep.
But again, it's right at the same exact location as the tank that's there. There isn't really much else you can do, at least for the tanks.
Yeah, no,
And
we've looked at pretty much everything. It's a juggling act. We're as close to 100 feet for the BSF. We did put in the D-Night, so it's the 3B and not the 1B.
That was all the questions on that. Bob,
No, I'm good with it.
Chris, any?
Everything's covered. It's a lot of variances, but it's better than what was there. And one less bedroom, I think a little less flow.
There's
Nice
nothing
too,
else
with
really
the
you can
enhanced
do there.
treatment. I don't know if we can do anything better, really, other than, honestly, wipe out the house, but yeah, I don't think we can do a repair any better than this with all the other stuff we got going on.
I believe we addressed all your comments, Ed? No?
Yeah, I mean, I got them, a lot of them cleared up before coming, so. Yeah.
Okay. Is there anyone here to speak to this one? I see somebody coming up.
My name is Roger Eldridge. I live at 137 Staple Shore Road, and I've sent you a letter
Yep.
earlier
Do we all have it?
in August 4th.
Yep, I know it.
Yep. so I have it in front of me.
I'm very concerned, my wife and I are both concerned about this particular project. Number one, it goes past my property. It's almost 104 feet or so. 50 feet of my property is, they're gonna cut up, or the road property. We're concerned about that. We're concerned also that they already have a septic system that's been approved. They selected 3 or 4 years ago to put in a tight tank, and now they want to put in something else which is crossing our property, and I'm concerned about that. There are also concerns in the letter that I wrote to you. The engineer here has addressed the first one, the flowable,
Global fill.
pardon me?
Flowable fill.
Failed, yes. That's, we'd like you to approve of that, and also that you ask your agent to be present when they're crossing a particular line. We're concerned about the line being crossed. Our septic system has been in place for 25 years, and we've had no problems, and you have evidence of that in terms of the reports that have been given. We have to have a report done every year and sent to you. It's also sent to us, and we've had no problems whatsoever with our system. So we're very concerned that something doesn't happen to our particular system. And number two is we'd like, and I don't know, I can't tell by looking at the diagrams whether this is going to go above or below our particular line, but we'd like it to go above the line so that our line is not disturbed. And we'd like that that you approve that request. And then finally, we asked the Board of Health to put I don't know what it's called, but on their deed, that if anything happens within the next 5 years to our septic system, that they fund the costs. we shouldn't have to pay for something if something goes wrong. Nothing is going wrong. So if something does go wrong, we can't see that it would be our fault. And we ask that you, also put it on the deed. And I know that's possible because when I built the house 20 years ago, all sorts of things were required of us, and they were all put on our deed by Board of Health and by the Conservation. So those are the things that I'd like you to consider.
Okay.
If you have any questions.
All right. Thank you. So we can go through all of them, I guess. The first one, so you said it had been addressed with flowable fill. Will be used around the crossing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm all for putting in a stipulation to have Ed inspect it and or Jamie at time of crossing and take pictures.
It should be there too,
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Documented.
to give them some peace of mind.
Yep.
Peace of mind on that point to you. The elevation on crossing the pipeline is a harder one to guarantee you. We tried to see how deep your pipeline was buried across the road, but there's no way really to tell until you excavate it. This pipeline being so long, Jamie has pitched it backwards purposely, so it'll drain back to the tank with elevations at a specific grade the entire way from the D-box to the pump chamber. So it has to follow a specific grade. So if they get to your pipe and your pipe's up here and you want us to go over it, you can't just run the pipe up and over 2 feet higher, just so we don't go under that pipe. And until time of excavation, you're really not gonna know. I talked to Jamie earlier. There's a good probability that it will be under.
Mhm.
He does not think it's gonna be over, but seeing he's down further from you and it's running that way, it'll probably be under your pipe.
Okay, so therefore, number 3, the third item, I hope you're able to do then, because I'm concerned about the pipe moving.
Right. So I guess we can talk to that. As far as your septic system failing, I think there's definitely a big area on that one. I mean, if you're talking about that pipe breaking in the road and damage to your pump line,
Yeah.
I don't think we've ever put something on a deed as far as that.
I mean,
But as far as your system failing, you're two different, totally different things. I mean, you can't
Mhm.
make somebody else.
If that pipe did break and it's still your whole leaching field and septic system wouldn't fail, you just have to fix that pipe. And I don't know if we can put some type of condition on that to have that pipe has to be repaired, but.
Well, I don't think I should have to fix the pipe or pay for the fixing of the pipe.
No, I agree,
I do agree with you too.
100%.
That's not my responsibility.
No, it's not. I'm not saying that, I'm just saying on the
Okay.
whole, you asked for the whole system, them to warranty your whole septic system, and we can't make them do that, is what I'm saying.
Oh,
But if it's from that crossing, something that they
Yeah.
caused, they think we can, I don't know the exact language, we might have to talk to town council, but I think we can do that.
Okay.
Make that a condition or something, but,
Well, I hope we're addressing with the flowable fill and making sure everything's compact in that area and stay stable, that neither pipe will be affected, it will just be good to go, because I don't think anyone in this room wants to see anything go wrong there.
Yep.
And I think it's a good idea.
and the flowable fill's like dumping concrete around it.
yeah,
So once everything's lined up and Ed and Jamie are there and they watch it and they see the pipes don't move, that hardens up, they're never gonna move. Like that, it's literally like one step under concrete, like
Mhm.
you need an excavator to dig it up. But it's for that reason, it's really hard, towns and cities make it, people do that when they're out in the road with water lines and sewer lines. It's like how the city of Taunton would protect their water line, the sewer line with the flowable fill, so.
Mhm.
So I'm comfortable, and that was gonna be my first comment, but they beat me to it, that I, and it's not cheap either, but it's something that's, in a situation like this, is worth doing, because you don't wanna be digging it up again, for any reason. I don't know the legal mechanism we have, though, to put that on.
I was gonna ask Ed on that one. Do you have any idea? Have you seen anything?
I don't know the legal, I mean, I can look into it, to see, if we can do it, like I said, but it would probably be, you need permission from the, the owners who are putting it in, signing something saying, hey, we are willing to repair anything that we damaged during construction or something like that. So it would be, you would have to have both parties involved.
It couldn't just be us saying.
Yeah, I
I don't
think-
know if that's true, Ed.
You know, you don't think you,
Yeah.
The other thing I see though, too, is
I think we
if-
can make somebody fix something if they broke it. Again, I don't know the exact way to do it without talking to town council, but again, I
But-
want for the overabundance of caution to give them peace of mind. But once the flowable fills in there and hardens up, it's never gonna move, so I'm very comfortable.
Yeah,
But
that's what I'm thinking
if
is,
we could avoid using town council and just got an agreement between the two owners, would that be preferable or?
I don't know, I'm not a lawyer, so,
Okay.
I don't approve of that.
yeah, just call town council and
Okay.
get a decision on it.
yeah,
This
'cause I'm
town spends a
thinking if
fortune
anything's
with
gonna
them.
break, it'll be while this is going on. Right,
Um,
once the flowable fill's there and everything's in place,
Yeah, it's never gonna move
there
again.
shouldn't be any issue.
You're guaranteeing that, hey?
I can't guarantee anything, but it's blocked in concrete. All right, earthquake, asteroid, I'm trying to think of what's gonna
Well,
break that.
That's not the issue.
I mean, I don't know.
Any comments, Jamie, on your part as far as?
I mean, I think you guys know our intention is to put the new system in and not damage anyone else's, system. Care will be taken, and Ed and I will inspect.
And you can guarantee that, sir, but you don't know who the builder of the system is gonna be, and you can't guarantee their work. They have to guarantee that.
Oh, no, I agree with that, but we'll be there to inspect before they backfill it, Ed and I will be there, and we will watch it get filled with flowable fill, so we
Okay.
can sign off on it.
That's a
Okay.
promise.
And document it
I
with
mean,
pictures.
that's gonna
and-
be a requirement that they're gonna make us do.
Okay.
And they have to sign off, as the engineer.
Yeah,
Mhm.
He is liable, even though he's not the contractor.
Yeah.
It does go back onto the engineer too, that
And
it was
if, and
done
if something
properly.
happened, you're gonna know in a day if it's not pumping or not. And, and they won't have a certificate of compliance by then anyway, so we could make them in that time frame say, hey, this isn't working, go fix it, which I don't know any contractor that, wouldn't do that if they made a mistake on it, but
And again, just crossing lines in roadways are very common. It happens all the time when they're running
Mhm.
these brand new water mains around town or sewer mains are going in,
Yes.
they cross.
But those are
hundreds
roads,
of them.
those are roads that are owned by the town. They're not privately owned.
Right, but they
And so
don't
that's the
damage
difference.
them. So it's easy to come and cross that line. It's
Mhm.
not,
Well, you were talking about, there are 8 people below, my house happens to be in the middle of that
street.
road.
Yeah,
There are 8 people on the other side that you're gonna need to think about.
that's what, yes, we
Yeah,
definitely have to address.
we will.
There was they
And
they need
notify
to
them
know
in
what's
writing,
going on.
Before the road is shut down, just make sure there's nobody that would, might need an ambulance or something, or an elderly person living there. I
Mhm.
mean, they would have to be taken
But
into
also people
consideration.
getting out to go to work and those
Correct.
kinds of things.
Correct.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Just one thing, one of your concerns was your tight tank. A lot of our residents come in and put in a tight tank and then later put in another system. We don't punish them for putting in a tight tank and say, okay, that's it, you're stuck with a tight tank for life. That's just our policy. It's not, tight tank is a very good system because it prevents an older system from being contaminating the area. And a lot of times people just don't have money for a system like this, so that's why they put in tight tanks and then later put in something else.
I understand that, but also in most cases, they're not running across other people's property. They've got it on their own
Yeah.
property. And that's what,
I agree, that's a separate issue, but you brought up a number of issues, and I just wanted to answer that one issue that you
Yeah.
just brought up, that it's very common that people get tight tanks and then later.
I understand that. And my point would be that they have a tight tank. It's on their own property. It's not on anyone else's property. I believe that people should be able to do whatever they want with their property. Once they infringe on somebody else's property, or cross their property, I think that that's a problem for me. And, this is what's happening here, and I mean, we don't approve of it, we don't like it. And, I understand about the tight tank. They could put a larger tight tank in if that's what they really wanted to do. And the other thing is that a tight tank, I've been told by several people who installed septic systems, tight tank is the safest system to have. I don't know. You
Yeah,
in fact said that to us when we came to see you.
Tight tanks do pollute less, there's no question there.
Yeah.
But like I said, we don't restrict them once you put in a tight tank. Because a lot of times we want people to put in a tight tank for just emergency purposes.
Mhm.
So it's just a policy, and you guys can correct me if it's
Crossing on the
wrong.
road, is it crossing on his property?
I will address that one too, yeah. Jamie, I think you've already looked into this with Bob Mather. I mean, his lot crosses the street here, but this is a town road. We've gotten that from town.
It's not a town road,
It's
it's a
not a town
private
road.
right of way.
Private
Yeah.
way.
It's a
And the
private,
derelict fee statute, he owns to the center in front of both lots. So on both sides. So he's not incorrect. By default, I believe he owns to the center. But that being said, everybody has the rights to use the road for utilities and access. And just like he was able to cross the road, anybody else can. If the town wanted, or if the electric company wanted to run underground electric, they can run it down that road.
yes.
So there's, the right
I
to
know
be able
that.
to do this is
Okay.
there.
I'm well aware of that.
Okay. so-
My lawyer is their lawyer.
Yes, so
And I went to see him about that very item.
okay.
That it is my property that I do own to the middle on both sides.
Right.
And I'm directly across, my property is directly across, unlike the Claytons where theirs is one place here and it's down the street
Yes,
50, 75 yards away.
right. But they do have a legal right.
Yes,
We've
they
all
have a
agreed
legal
to
right, and I'm
cross, so
I'm not
okay.
protesting the legal
Okay.
right. That's not my,
I
that's
just
not
want
my.
to make sure it's clear for anybody watching, or that,
Yep,
you know, you made it like we were just crossing your property, like we didn't have the right to grant this, so.
right.
They do have the legal right to cross it. but
They
you
do.
do own to the.
Yeah, I know that.
Okay.
That's not,
All right,
that's why I'm not arguing about that. But it is crossing my property and I am concerned about that,
okay,
okay? And I think you would be as well,
yes.
if they were going across your property.
And as a board, that's why we try to
Mm-hmm.
make every.
Thank you.
Attempt, so.
Ideally, we'd go back 30, 40 years and these would all be seasonal and nobody living in them year round.
Well, I've lived there for this, well, not lived there, but owned the property. My father bought the property when I was 10. I'm 79, so I've been there a long time.
Yeah.
And I know a lot about the history of that place and all of the things that have gone on in that place. So I do understand. Yes, most of them were just, in fact, what we had was just a cottage.
Yeah.
Pumping out of the pond for water.
Pardon me?
I'm sure you're probably pumping out of the pond for water back in the
No,
day.
there was a
Back-
well.
Yeah, actually, yeah.
There was a hand pump well.
Yeah,
When we moved in, but there was a hand pump well that was there. It's still there. They converted it to a drilled well, back in the 70s, and I don't remember exactly when.
okay.
Okay.
Appreciate it, thank you.
Thank you.
I think the only thing we haven't clarified.
Is there anybody else that wants to talk about this?
I just wanted to make a couple of comments.
Just say your
He
name.
has some, Richard Clayton, I live at 135 Staple Shore.
Okay, so you're the owner.
And just a couple things that came up in that conversation is that, no, I don't want anything tied to my deed for his pipes, okay? Just wanted to get that out of there. And second is that if you look at it now, which they'll find when he goes, when whoever does the excavation will see that there's already two low spots on that. That's, I don't know if the pipe's leaking now, but I had mentioned it to Roger that, hey, there's a couple of spots here that are sinking. And that's coming directly from where his pump goes over to his septic system. And I don't know, so I just want to get it on record that when they do look at it, there may be damage there already that we don't see, okay? And obviously don't want to be responsible for that. And at that point, we bring that up, then he can fix it. Right? He's since gone in and put a little bit of patchwork on top of it, but it's still sinking. I don't know why, but just wanted to bring that up and get it on record that there may be damage there already that we don't know, and I don't want it to be because of what we're doing.
Jamie, is there peat in that area?
No, not typically.
There's no
That's
settling.
sandy, nice sandy stuff that I've encountered, on Staple Shore. That's, yeah, we see that in Shore Ave mostly, not Staple.
Just when I hear subsidence with a wetland and a pond, I
Yeah.
think of peat.
Right.
You know?
And the other, just to address the other point, yes, we have a tight tank, but we didn't live here full time. My wife grew up here, but, you know, she's been here 68 years. So now I'm here, and this is just now that we're here full time, and I'm gonna retire, it's just, it's the right thing to do. To get the system there that we don't have to pump out every 6 weeks or whatever. So we hope we're doing everything right, you know, by going with this system, which I understand is a lot better than what we have as far as, you know, use anyway. So I don't want anything, and again, I didn't see the letter that you guys got. You live next door, Raj. He could come and talk to me if he wants, but whatever it is, I think that we have,
This is public record, so I'll give you a copy, because I don't need all of these, you can have it. But
I think as long as we just address the issues, and like I said, I don't want to be obligated to his system for the next 20 years, or 5 years, or 10 years, or any of it, so.
Yeah, I don't think that was their intention here. I think the concern is, you know, while we're digging in the road, you know, that's the only thing that's reasonable to expect is if we break that pipe. we fix
I
it.
think so too, and I just wanted to just, you know, again, just to say that, hey, there's something, maybe something going on there, but you'll know when it gets dug up.
We'll know quick.
Somebody's gonna know right away.
We'll know quick.
So one comment on that though too, where you guys are, sounds like you're using the same attorney. Write up a letter,
No, so,
write up a letter
No,
that
I don't have
says,
no, there's not. It's so.
you know what I mean?
When Mr. Eldridge called the attorney, obviously, Bob called me because I do a lot of work with Bob, and we talked about it. And Bob was looking for some assurances for his client, which I spoke with Mr. Clayton, and he was fine to give. Flowable fill, not a problem. The inspection, not a problem. We don't want to damage anybody's property. So there was no issues on that, and Bob said, this is fantastic, you know, so everything's good. I don't think there's gonna be an issue, you know, especially if Ed and I inspect it. I mean, I don't know what else we can do for assurance on that. The flowable fill and that is about as good as it gets.
That's all I had to say.
Thank you. Is there anyone else in the audience that wants to speak to this one? I don't see anyone. So how do we want to leave? Obviously, we got a couple of things to put in with it.
I don't know.
And how do you want to leave the crossing of the pipe?
I'd like to, I mean, if you can't go over it, I mean, at the time you dig it, if you find out it's deeper than you thought, you can go over it, I'd like it to go over it, but if you can't go over it, I do think though that they should be some type of, is it a septic system by law guaranteed for so long? Are there any type of warranties that the state makes somebody have when they put in a septic system for someone?
I don't think so. Not that I
Not
know
aware
of.
of.
Yeah, I don't know either, so, I mean, not the septic, not his field, not his tanks or anything, but, I mean, I would like to give him some protection that where he crossed, and you'll locate that, so we know exactly where that is.
That's why I was thinking where,
Yeah,
like,
right, on your asphalt though, so we know exactly where it is.
Yeah, and it's shown, because when you go out there, that's still, the saw cut across the road is still there with the bump.
Okay.
so that's where I was thinking where they using the same lawyer, like maybe that they make an agreement between themselves of
Well, he just said he
You just
didn't
said
want
that
to,
was,
but I wanna,
that's why I was
you know,
going that way. That was a
a
no.
10 by 10 area that's like, if something goes wrong right in this area, this is what we'll do. I mean, and then we don't have to be part of it, because I don't know, we've never put anything like that in a deed since I've been on the board that I can think of.
Yeah, we haven't since I.
So,
No.
I mean, you know, bedrooms and flow and stuff like that, and wells, but
this is
not
a unique
this.
situation. In a town road, the town fixes it. And on a private road like this, if something happens, it's either try to get the association to fix it, and they're gonna be like, we didn't do it, we're not gonna pay for it, so. Like, that's the part of it I don't know. And again, just where it crosses, but, you know, if in 3 or 6 months something happens and it does settle, or a tractor trailer drives over and it settles and the pipe gets cracked, you know, in that spot, you know, it just, I don't know. I just think there should be something on where it specifically crosses that, that they have a little protection going forward.
But again, I just don't know how we word it legally and approve it, with something like that. I don't even know what you'd say to even.
No, that's why I said I
You
think
don't
we
know
should
who the
ask town
contractor
council.
is, you don't know.
Because, you know, the contractor would have to, you know, maybe be the one to warranty or something.
You
Make it a
can do a
condition.
bond or something.
Yeah, or have a bond or make the contractor warranty it for so long. I mean, you can't say it's never gonna happen, or there's never been a problem with this kind of stuff ever. And, you know, it really wouldn't be fair to him if something did happen, and the 1 in a million chance something happened, and then he had to get stuck paying for it.
No, and
Oh, yeah, no, I
the other
don't
thing I was
disagree.
thinking too is if, I mean, not for his, but, wouldn't matter. I was thinking about the type of pipe, but that's not gonna fix his pipe, it's BO pipe.
Mhm.
Yeah,
If you didn't have to have the backflow, I mean, HDPE, that's his pipe, not the neighbor's.
yeah, I don't know, so, and just thinking about this, you know, out loud, you've got a pipe that's crossing a private way, and you can have another pipe that's gonna be crossing it. If there's damage done, typically what most other towns would do, they would say it's a civil matter, and you guys would work it out. And I know you're trying to provide assurances, but that's realistically what he'll do, is he'll have his attorney write a letter right away, and it would behoove my client to have the guy come and fix it before he had to hire an attorney and pay 10 times the cost to try to litigate it. I think the problems would work itself out, but that being said, I'm open to suggestions, because we just want to get this to be able to move forward.
And I agree, like, if something does happen, it's gonna be a broken pipe, which is not the most expensive thing. So I think you're gonna spend far more on attorneys, trying to resolve it or something like that, rather than just saying, okay, you know, let's just fix that broken pipe, you know? I mean, cause I can't think of much else that would happen other than breaking a pipe.
No,
But I agree, it's a 2-inch pipe,
yeah.
class 6 white, schedule 40 pipe.
And we're literally gonna be putting it from dirt into flowable fill, which is a much better base surrounding it. So
Yeah, but do we know what the other guy has? What his pipe is?
It
No,
should be a
that's-
2-inch force.
that's-
Should be 2 inch.
That's what we
force
believe it
main.
is a
Okay.
2-inch. I'm not
2-inch.
positive, Bob, but I believe that's the
I mean,
case.
it's a force main, right?
Yeah,
I have
I would
actually, I
imagine
have
it's
this.
2
and it could even be Schedule 80 crossing that road back in the day. There's some Schedule 80 crossing that road, but if it's Schedule 80, you'll not, unless you rip it out with a machine and you have your eyes closed,
Actually, you know,
you're not gonna hurt the pipe.
there might be a chance it's 4-inch, because he has a pressure distribution system. I've got his as-built here, and it says it's a 4-inch Schedule 40 PVC manifold, and it shows that same thickness of pipe going across the street. Give this to you guys. It doesn't say
Yeah, it
specific.
doesn't say the force main, but
It
it does say the
Oh, is it a
manifold,
sleeve?
Kind of,
No,
No?
sometimes when you have to put that big volume, see right here, it says.
I don't think I've ever seen 4-inch force main before.
no, it's a 4-inch manifold, we don't know in the force main, but
Yeah,
possibly if it's a
It's
4-inch
possible.
manifold,
Oh,
it
manifold,
may be,
yes.
yep, it is possible. So it's most likely 2, but it could be 4.
Yeah, you'd have to almost pull up the plans for the pump tank and see what it showed coming out of the pump. I can't believe that pump, I've never seen a pump for. It's
No,
like
but
huge
They
pumps,
typically go the reducer backwards, and they'll expand it. And
close
the
to the
reason,
D-box and grab
right
your
near the
feet.
pump. No, in this case, because what they're looking to do is get the volume to pressurize that system to force those laterals.
Yeah,
So I've seen people do it close to the pump chamber, because what it does is it will reduce the friction in the pipe, right, Ed?
yeah.
And so you'll be able to push more water through to pressurize those laterals. Not necessarily the way I would do it, but I've seen it done that way. So it could be either way here.
Yeah, so we don't know.
so yes, we don't. We know where the pipe is, they said there's a trench, so, I mean, they should be able to find the pipe without damaging it.
Yeah.
I mean,
And if I could add just one more thing, he's really just asking, now that I'm seeing this for the first time, that he's asking that we pay any expense we incur for any damage may occur to our septic during the installation of the system. So this is where I mean, to guarantee him any issues for the next 20 years, which we all have, from what I've heard, know way more about septics than I need to know. But hearing you guys talk makes me believe that we're solid, that it's not gonna be a problem down the road. But again, back to the point, whatever contractor I get to put it in is gonna own the fact that if something happens when he puts it in, he's gonna say, you know, I fix that.
I think what we're saying is that no one can guarantee how long a septic will last, but if we break it when we're doing the installation for yours, then we fix
You
it.
break it, you fix it. Right.
Yes.
Yeah, and I'm all for that. I just don't, when he's talking about putting restrictions on my deed and all this stuff,
Yeah.
you know. I'm not up for that. Because that would never end, you know.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, I don't know, how we, like you said, time, I agree with,
I think at time of construction, I'm all for that, and I think we've covered that pretty well, that I think if anything happens, it'll be fixed immediately. I think we're good. I don't think we can put any guarantees on anything beyond that. You know what
I don't
mean?
see how we do, I don't.
And
have
I
time.
think at the end, if it comes down to something like that, it'll end up being either we just work it out or litigation.
Yeah,
It's not really, I don't think we can put that in the deed.
it's gonna be the nasty letter from the attorney saying,
Yeah.
hey, you guys need to fix this. It will. I mean, regardless of the guarantees, that's what's gonna happen first, is it'll be a letter from an attorney saying you got an issue. So,
But I think we have every right to at least put in there what he'd asked for in 3, at time of construction. Any damage to any part of his system at time of construction is gonna be the responsibility of
and we're amenable to that.
the installer.
100% amenable to that. Yep.
Anybody here's gonna say,
Yep.
And I think we have the
But
right
what
to say
about 2
that.
weeks later, if something happens to it? This guy's gonna have to go through all that stuff? I mean, you guys can do whatever you want, but I would like to ask town council if we could have a warranty put on that for a certain period of time. Not 20 years, but for 6 months or a year or something. Only on that specific crossing, but if you guys don't agree, that's fine. I'm only one person. But, I mean, it's a private road. It isn't like the town's gonna come fix it. You know, if he calls them up and says this thing's broken, he's gonna have to hire somebody to fix it. He's gonna have to hire an attorney. He's gonna have to go through all of that. And it wouldn't be his fault, you know? Again, not in the septic system, not in the tank, not in the field, just where that crossing is. And I don't know that that's unreasonable. Maybe I'm getting old and you know, you guys think it is, but again, I don't know if it's legal or not to even do that. That's why I wanted to talk to council, but it's you guys' calls if you don't want to or not.
sorry, I keep coming back up there. He said himself, it's a 25-year-old system.
We're not talking about, I'm not talking about the system. I'm not talking about his tank, his field, any other pipe. I'm talking about at that crossing. If something happens, it's a bad batch of flowable fill, a tractor trailer drives over it, something happens a month later or 2 months later and his pipe gets broken. I don't think it's fair that he has to, at that time, hire somebody to fix it right away because the septic system won't work anymore, and then have to hire a lawyer to try to get you to pay for it.
Totally agree.
So I'm talking about that one area.
Yeah, it's like,
Nothing else
it's like
to do
8
with his
feet or
septic.
whatever it is
Nothing
across the
else to
street.
do with his
That's-
septic system
I
at all.
understand, but that also, again, 25-year-old system, and there are a lot of trucks, all the trash trucks come through there, everything else. I don't know how you would tie it back to the fact that the pipe that we went under his with created his to break, you know what I mean?
Because you'd be taking all the dirt from around his pipe that's lasted 25 years and then replacing it, and if the compaction or the fill's not right or something's not right, it would absolutely be caused by that.
And to my other point too, is that you just looking at it now, when they dig it up, you'll see that there's something going on there anyway, because there's 2 potholes basically right over his place. So,
Over where the crossing is or in the septic?
right where the crossing is for his pipe, there's 2 potholes. They were about that deep, and I mentioned to him, I said, well, I'm putting in a new septic, let me have the guys look at it, maybe there's something happening here. And then he went out and put a couple of patches of asphalt on top to try to fill it up, but it's still way low. So something's going on there. That's why I just wanted to bring it up, that take a look when you go in there, because it may be something. And if that's an indicator of something has happened or is going to happen, then I'm all
we
for,
can-
I'm all for doing it at the
we
installation
can-
time, but ask me to guarantee that one strip of pipe for him for the next forever is
No,
I mean,
he's saying
No,
6 months.
months.
Yeah.
6 months.
I'm just saying to a season, a normal season. So
I
the
could live
ground
with that.
freezes, it
live with
thaws.
that?
I could live with that,
So-
Ken, 6 months, I
so
mean,
what
we'll
if-
know in 6 months, and whoever the contractor, I
We-
was gonna say, hey, you gotta
So you're
warranty
in-
that one section for 6
That's,
months.
that's all I'm
You're-
talking
yeah,
about.
you amenable to
That's
that?
where-
All right, that's why I couldn't go here, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you say
No,
that.
no. We're trying to narrow this down as
Yes,
small as
yeah, we're trying to
possible.
get out
amenable
without
to
going to
that?
town council.
I think, but is that not
It's a very reasonable thing.
I know, I agree, I think that's fair.
And then the other thing too, we can document the potholes beforehand.
Right.
Once they excavate it, we can take pictures of that as well, so we'll have a before and after
You
as
were
well.
told you
So
can't speak.
if there is any damage to the pipe, we can document before it, before they,
Yes.
Okay,
cross it.
and I think, we all, as a reasonable men, think that's probably reasonable that he's asking me for that, then 6 months is fine. If there's anything gonna happen, it's gonna happen in 6 months.
Exactly. So,
I agree.
so
agree with
I
that.
guess we might all be okay then if we have an attorney draft up a simple document stating that from 6 months after the time of inspection of Ed and I, that any damage to that section of pipe at that crossing,
Is warranted to him for a year.
he will,
Oh,
6 months.
he will
whatever.
fix
6
at
months.
his full cost.
Yeah,
Yep, we.
And then I'm gonna ask the contractor to give you a 6-month warranty on it.
exactly. That's
Yeah.
that's what I was
That's fair.
alluding to earlier, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so, yeah,
that's
we'll,
okay.
we'll get something in writing prior to pulling the disposal works permit to
Yeah,
Ed.
and just have the guy that pulls the permit put a warranty in writing to him.
Yep.
And then he'll be golden.
Yep, perfect.
Yeah, I'm fine with that if you guys are good with that.
Yeah, I think
I think that's fair.
that'll save,
And that will.
That's-
and he's
saves a lot
agreeing
of-
to it, so we don't have to,
Yeah,
as
no,
the
we'll-
owner, that's.
Well, yeah, we'll type
This
it up
is-
so you guys don't have to
This
reach
is
out to council.
kind of what I was
Just do it.
alluding to, and I kept saying, if they could just work out an agreement for themselves, it would be good, and you don't have to deal with it.
I live next
Perfect.
door, he could have walked over.
Perfect.
We could have done this, but, okay.
All right,
I've known
let's
him my
get
whole
this-
life.
That, I said you can't talk. This is my wife.
You agreed.
talk,
I've known,
you're right
I'm
in the street.
69, I've known that man my whole life.
Okay,
I grew up with it.
Don't put that in the record.
it's on camera though.
The sudden outburst from my wife,
Okay.
28 years, 29 years.
I like your wife.
Yeah, I have too.
I get myself in trouble all the time too for saying exactly what I think.
So I think
That
we're all
agreement, we
agreed.
don't need to add in, because that's gonna be
No, no, in case it doesn't get done.
in case it doesn't get done.
Just put it as a condition.
Yeah.
Yeah, as a
Okay.
condition of the
It's just a-
approval. Sure.
Approval
Of
condition.
the compliance. the
Prior to the issuance of a
compliance, that's done.
construction works permit. Yeah, yep.
We'll
we're
have
okay
it.
with that.
But that's, is that only, it's only something that I need to sign, right?
That's correct, because you're warranting it.
Yeah, we're asking you to warranty it. If he doesn't want you to warranty it, then it is what it is.
Yep.
Okay,
That makes sense.
And so, and the flowable fill's already on here, which they requested, so it's already in the plan. We don't need to add that.
Correct.
We've just 17 in the agreement. There's nothing,
nope,
am
that's
I
it.
missing anything?
No, I was fine with all of it except for.
All right.
No,
good
yeah,
with
you
everything, Derek?
did have one more. The pre-construction meeting with Ed and
Oh,
I.
right,
Oh, yeah,
inspections.
traffic.
Okay.
So traffic and fire to notify all the butters and
Yep.
the
All
fire
right.
That's the
department.
most important part of it.
Yeah, and work out
To
a
me.
plan for
Yeah.
that day.
And any damage, well, that was gonna be in the 6 month, you said you're gonna say, any damage to his pipe during the crossing or up to 6 months?
Is there any place that like cars could park on the other side of this? And maybe if we just gave them a golf cart for a day to run people up and down the street if they had to
By the
get out?
triangle there.
Is there any place to park cars?
And we'll talk to,
We
we know.
all the other neighbors, we get along really well, so we can talk to
Okay.
them
That
and
won't be a
explain to them.
problem.
Won't be a
But
problem.
it does bring up one question, I know we're talking about going down the center, Jamie, is it, if we came across from our place, which she wanted to come, or said she would come, but she didn't. If we go straight over to her and straight down the side there, then people would have it, then we could just cut off a small section, does it need to go down the center of the road?
No, it doesn't have to. I think we would have to look at it from utilities and retaining walls and structures. If you're close to a retaining wall or a utility pole, you can undermine the structure, compromise its integrity.
We'll just ask the
But
neighbors.
if we go across from where we are, straight across,
Mhm.
and then down, there's no utility poles on that side, and then we're, not only that, he's not coming out of his driveway and having to go across anything or anything down.
Yeah,
And
we,
everybody that lives farther down could actually get to that.
I think that we can look at options. There's no, if it moves a few feet in the right of way, there's no issue with that with the board.
No, we're okay with that.
Yeah.
No, because it's hard to even tell where it is in the street with this
I think
drawing.
what he's saying is all the utility poles are on the pond side, and he's
Yep.
saying going on the far
Yeah.
side, get as far away from the
All the
utility
septic
poles as
systems are
possible.
on the far side, and some of them have those big JNR blocks.
Yeah.
So we just gotta make sure that
And the only one that you're gonna cross is his, which is not a big wall.
it's just the mound.
Set
Mounded.
Yeah, okay. So yeah, we can probably do that.
Yeah, and then that, when we take you're literally going now maybe this far or whatever you gotta do into his, because it goes straight across the road, you just go under in there, might be the better option, I don't know.
All
Okay.
right, Chris, run it over.
So you'll look into where, you'll define where it's gonna
We'll
go,
lay it out in the pre-construction meeting. and make
exactly
sure
where it
that-
should be,
Yeah.
and most cost effective, and
Yeah,
like I said, I'm always not for center of the road, it's kind of
We'll,
a,
we'll for
Bad
sure
spot.
tell all the neighbors that, hey, this is going on, guys, so stay to the side, and we put up, a couple of orange cones, that won't be an issue, so. And
Okay.
we're not impeding anybody.
Alright.
it's on you, Chris.
I make a motion, we approve the subsurface sewage disposal system upgrade at 135 Staples Shores Road with the 17 requested local upgrades and variances. And then a contingent upon an agreement between the abutter and the homeowner to guarantee, the homeowner will guarantee the abutters, work over the abutters for Spain for 6 months, and there'll be an agreement that will be settled when they pick up their permit. Want to make sure that that's settled with the permit. And then there'll be a pre-construction meeting to determine all the construction activity in the roadway, specifically towards other abutters getting in and out, and fire being able to get in or out also.
Thank you, Gotterell. I'll second that.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Aye.
All right. Thank you. Appreciate your
guys.
patience.
All right.
Jamie.
No
Thank
problem.
you.
Thank you, Jamie.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank
No
you.
problem. Good night, guys.
Thank you. Next on the agenda, 166 Rhode Island Road, new stable permit, requesting variances, request a variance to permit 4 horses on the property.
Hi, good evening. I'm Morgan Long. I've owned 166 Rhode Island Road since December of 2010. Also, I have my professional information here. Stephanie Miranda, who has these horses, her information is here. These are germane in the fact that if a question comes up about the welfare of these animals on this space, because we're both licensed professionals, we're held to a higher standard. So if that ever was a concern, as a veterinarian, as a certified vet tech, we're supposed to know better. The reason for applying for a variance in this is because these 4 horses come together. They are a herd together. I talked to this with Jared, and he seemed to be fine with what we're planning to set up there. A couple points. Manure will not be stored on site. It will be taken away. I know one of the things he mentioned about the square footage per horse was largely based on things like denitrification, the droppings remaining in the area. That should be resolved by picking it up and getting it out. The location for that dumpster, I think you guys have a copy of this. But the location of the dumpster, I've got a couple of companies coming in to site check this. It's going to be right by the 10-foot gate in the middle of the property, not near an edge, not near an abutter, not that there isn't a abutter in that area.
Yeah, right, the gate's right here.
Yeah. So that's the 8-foot gate, the 10-foot gate here that comes up for the farm road that comes up past the garage, and it would be right by that.
Where is it? I don't see it on the plan. Maybe I'm just
Yeah,
missing
no,
it.
it's not on this one.
It's not
Oh.
on, there's an 8-foot gate here,
Okay.
and a 10-foot gate right here, so that you can bring equipment or a trailer right up past the garage, and it would be right there. So-
On which side?
On-
Inside or the
on
outside?
So they can come up with the truck, pick up the
Is,
dumpster. And
that's your septic system right
I
there,
do.
right?
I'm staring at that driveway going over the septic and then
That's your
everything else
septic
going
system
in. I'm
right
like,
there. You're talking
"Ah."
about putting it right next to your septic system?
Either side here.
Okay.
It looks like pipe and stone, so I think it's all H20.
Yeah,
It's already, the driveway's already crossing it.
yeah. No, I'd rather have it in the middle of the property. I don't know where the abutters' houses are. So I'm okay with that. I'm just checking.
There's only two direct abutters, one over the back, Gary and Cheryl Piazza, and one on the other side of the paddock, Chris and Lauren Roby. Everybody else is either I don't know what they call it, a butter by default, across the street or across Pine Ridge Drive.
Okay. And I see all the abutter notices went out. Or just
Yeah,
the
there were a
letters?
couple, when we were first talking about this, I met with everybody
Okay.
to discuss exactly what's going on and sent a letter for documentation of exactly what the plan is, and then they got a letter about the meeting itself. And the feedback I've gotten from the neighbors is all favorable. Sheltering for these animals is, once we know that we have some assurance of a go, sheltering is gonna be an agricultural grade hoop roof.
We have the picture of that.
Yeah, it's not like a carnival tent type thing. The structure is warranted for 35 years and the cover's warranted for 17
Okay.
on the one roof.
Now, these
I'm
four
pretty familiar with
horses,
these structures.
you're looking to, have, you own these? These are your own personal horses?
Yes, this is not a commercial,
Right, yeah, because we don't allow orders
No.
over
no,
under 5 acres.
that's unacceptable.
So-
The other thing I wanted to make clear, because I was a little concerned by some of the notes in the stable regulations, it seems to interchange pasture and paddock. The state of Massachusetts, I did research it, state of Massachusetts does have a definite definition for a paddock. I think I pulled this off of Westford's, they pulled it up from Mass DAR. A paddock is an exercise area, whereas a pasture is a source of sustenance. These horses are not going to be pastured here, they're going to be bale fed. And that's what this is a free access paddock area for them to be able at will to go out and exercise. And that will be cleaned up and patrolled and the manure removed. If there was a question about the amount of space per animal, because I've known in looking at regulations throughout towns, it varies wildly. But I actually pulled up some information, some solid information on what's really needed for these guys. I've got a couple papers from ag schools out west. One of the best studies was done in England and also repeated in a couple of the Western agricultural schools. What it relates to is, how much space does a horse need to be non-stressed? And the answer to that is blood cortisol levels, which is what they do for event horses. They're often stopped at checkpoints and they draw blood and they check them. They found that, and I can leave these papers with you guys. They found that once a horse has 342 square meters, which amounts to 3,680 square feet, that their cortisol levels bottomed out. And then if you continue to add additional space on, it didn't change their cortisol levels. So that, to the researchers, was indication that those were non-stressed horses. If you run the numbers for what we've got, each horse technically will have 4,500 square feet of space.
Okay. I think on that point also, all three of us, I believe, were on the board when we did these regs. These regs are, well, within the last 10 years probably. But I think the main cap on the horse, per acre or per lot size, I don't even think we even acknowledged into what a horse needs. We were more onto the amount of area for the neighbors and the smell and how many horses on one piece of property, more for the neighbors.
Right.
I think that's where that 40,000 came from, and, it was just how many horses it should be on such a small property and not really interfere with the neighbors, was, I think, where those numbers come in, I believe.
I think so, cause. yeah,
It
we
was
did-
not on, like how much.
I won't go into specifics, but there's been stuff that's happened in town at times, and I think we don't want anyone doing things just because somebody's upset or something like that, you know? But
I did notice, I drove by, see you got the fence out,
Yeah, I
the
laid that out so you
minimum
could see.
to a property line is 20 feet, and you kept it at 20 feet on your entire property. I mean, you're right at the minimums. The house to the left of you has that swimming pool looking from Rhode Island Road into your driveway, has the swimming pool. It's pretty open right to your barn, but I don't see anyone here to speak against it. And then the neighbor in the cul-de-sac out back, I mean, that's just pretty much that 20-foot buffer of trees before their open yard right to that window. I think you have some measurements, 90 feet to their house from that fence, and
Yeah, 90 feet to their house and 80 feet to
their
their,
well.
to their
I think
well.
It was
And
140
that's-
feet from the barn to this is,
Yeah.
this is all wide open, so, you know, I like to see buffers and some more trees to try to take, but it's just wide open to their yard too, but, they were notified. Again, I think, since we've been on the board, I don't think we've granted a variance to give more horses than what, we had allowed for. So this will probably be, there was one back in 2010 before these regs were updated, I believe, and that was only temporary. He had pulled up the meeting minutes in 2010 on Melbourne Street. They went to 4 horses, but it was a temporary, permit. It wasn't permanent. I think there's no way, I don't know if Ed knows this, once we grant 4, this isn't a yearly renewal. You're gonna be grandfathered with 4 no matter what.
Yeah, I mean, he has to renew it every year, but he won't have to come back to the board. or
So
anything
he's
like that. I
guaranteed.
mean, unless you guys condition it,
So,
that it's
yeah, I
only
was
for
just gonna
1
say,
year.
we can condition it.
Well,
These
that's-
are, say the average age is 15, correct, in the letter? The average age of the horses is 15?
Yeah, 15 to 25. and
So what's
one
the
of them is a
youngest?
miniature horse, the other 3 are.
So what are all the 4 ages? Like,
One's 15, one's 21, one's 28. The other one's around 18.
Now,
so maybe it's a temporary situation, right?
that was
so
gonna
like,
be my next
you know,
question.
maybe we're, depending on how this goes, maybe we're okay with this for now, but not going forward, like, the next, like, you wouldn't replace until
Yeah.
it was down below 2 or whatever the
I mean,
square footage.
Just
is.
trying to get them home. They're in Pennsylvania now, so.
Right. I know
these
your
guys-
argument, you wanted to keep them 4 together, which
Mhm.
I understand, where they've all been together their whole life.
Yeah.
But
But
this
maybe
is,
it's
this is our
something-
minimum lot size in the town though. I mean, like, that's 70,000 square feet, the minimum lot size in town, and to start letting everybody put 4 houses on their property.
4 horses.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like that, if we do this, then everybody in town can put 4 horses on their property.
That's where I'm going, that's why I think it's very, very specific. It does say it's up to the board under the last, shall be subject to review by the Board of Health. So
Now,
So what's the average life expectancy?
Well, I know
of
going
horse?
back maybe before
Late,
you, but I know
late
like,
20s,
if
30s.
people are a couple of thousand
So
square
they
foot
only
off,
got
we
30,
round up
one's
and let them
28.
have one.
Right.
But never 2. I never gave 2 extra than what they
now, when
did.
those regulations were written, was the
So-
presumption that there would not be
I just
manure
asked her
collection.
life expectancy,
Mhm.
around 30. We got one that's 28, so it would be I think this may be temporary, kind of like,
Well, it'd be, if,
you know what I mean?
that
I
could be a
don't plan on,
possibility.
yeah,
that-
there's no replacing them once they go, I'm not
Yeah.
into that, it's just, I've, had them since college
So,
and
that's,
wanna just have them.
and I don't think we're setting precedent, right? This is each of these cases looked at individually, similar to like all our other things
Every
we look
case
at?
is
Yeah.
on its own merit.
It's all on its own
That's-
merit.
There's no one
And
here
if we
to say no.
contingent-
Yeah, and you issued a
The
temporary
condition
one in the
stuff.
past, so you could issue a temporary
Um,
one in the future.
But it's, like I said, if there was, one of your butters were here speaking against this, I would absolutely
Yeah,
not
that-
entertain it.
That's helping too,
Um,
obviously.
But they've been notified, they're not here, they must be okay with it, I hope.
Mhm.
Or they would have sent us
Did you get over
something.
certified on this?
We did,
Um,
and he actually notified more than he needed to, so.
Yeah, well, we've been discussing this when the idea came up in the spring. I met with all my neighbors individually to discuss it verbally, to address any questions. For instance, one abutter, Cheryl Piazza, her biggest concern was I gonna cut those trees? And obviously, we sat down and talked. Absolutely not, because that is a sun shelter. When Jared came out to look, he actually felt that, in his words, he felt that was, it's self-adequate shelter for them until wintertime because of the pine grove. So I reassured her that the trees are going nowhere because they're an asset for these animals.
And were there both animal professionals that made me feel a little bit more comfortable too. And the last one before Derek and I were on the board, that was an animal professional also, and it was a temporary thing, so, I don't know.
Like I said,
I,
I'm getting old, but I remember like if somebody had 5,000 square foot short of one extra horse, we would do that. But this is like, I never double the amount, you know what I mean, than that was allowed.
no, and normally
You know,
I'd be right there
on that
with you, Bob.
temporary thing, probably we did, I believe, because I don't remember it, but, and that was my whole thing. And again, too, I always said at all the meetings, if the neighbor was here, I'd say no, but if no one's here complaining, then, I'm more open to being reasonable, so.
So, to just go to the point, so 40,000, you have to have 40,000 for a single horse per, bylaw. No such license shall be issued for 2 horses under 60,000, 3 horses on 80,000. Any additional horses are subject to the review. So am I just reading this correct, Ed?
Yeah, no, that's great. So for
So-
3 horses, he would need 80 and he has 70. So he's 10 short for the 3, and then the 4th is just a. But that was similar to what in 2010, it was, they had 70 and they had 4 temporarily, then, they have 2 now, I think, so they don't have.
I don't wanna discount the pony, but it's like 3.5.
Yeah, that's how I would say it, it's just 3.5.
So just clarify me if I'm wrong, Ed. So it's not, it says, subject to the review. They're not just talking about over 80,000 if they want more than 3 horses. It's subject to the review, because up front it says, no, you may not, no license shall be issued for 2 horses kept on any square lot than 60,000. 3 on any lot of 80,000. But for additional horses is to the review of the board.
Correct.
So we can,
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
it's not just 3 and you look at.
Yeah, the regulations
We don't have
say,
80,000.
on like certain conditions, like whatever,
That's
animal
all right.
professionals or whatever, and temporary basis, you guys can grant this, and then, like I said, you did it in 2010, so, well, not you, but the board did,
Okay.
Yeah, and if the
Was I
butters,
on
just
that?
like Bob said, the butters came
That
and
was
were
like my
not
first
happy.
year,
I
so-
Yeah, it was you,
I changed my
Garvey, and,
tune there too.
I didn't know what I was doing back then.
Right, I think you'd have to.
I came
Yeah.
from the city, all I knew about horses back then was my father taking me to the track.
So I agree, I don't think I'd wanna do it on a permanent basis, in my opinion. I mean, I think if you had these 4 horses and it was, we allowed you to have them 4 until, once they passed away, they wouldn't be replaced with another horse. You'd only be allowed 2 on this property, cause that's all you need.
Right.
Um,
Yeah, and
And at least so it's not a permanent.
Right.
Along with
That's-
that too, like, I wouldn't want that to be like 4, and then you guys sold, and then the next person's going, well, the last guy had 4, why can't I have 4? No, this is gonna be a temporary conditional type thing, because I don't,
That's a good point, because that's in this wording, now you bring that up, I think Ed might be able to talk to that one too. I think we can make this, that this doesn't go with the sale of the house, because you're grandfathered under this for 6 months, under number 8.
I thought that I had read that if the property changes ownership, the clock resets and the new people have to.
The grandfather.
Yeah, so they, if they, file within the 6 months of being an owner, they can get the same. So if you had 2 in the past and then, you know, they
Okay.
filed 3 months after buying the house, they could just get 2. They wouldn't have to come before the board. We could just approve it because they had 2, you had 2, something like that. So what Derek is saying is it's not transferable, I think, so.
I wanna make it non-transferable.
Yeah.
So I have the.
And it would just be for those 4 horses,
Correct, so number 8
until it gets down to 2, and then they can do whatever they want.
on our, stable regs says all existing stables are grandfathered. The new owner must apply for a stable permit within 6 months of the transfer of property. If the new owner does not apply within 6 months, the property transfer grandfathering will expire. I would like to exclude that on anything we
Yeah.
approve on this one.
because we did have one come before us where the grandfathering had expired by like a year or so. But I think they kind of got in under other reasons, they were able to get a new one because of other reasons, but.
I think on this one, would be okay to grandfather for 2, right? I mean, I
Correct,
don't want
Yeah,
So this would be grandfathered for 2. But the 4 is a temporary basis, and we'd just have to have Jared document, you know, the name of the horses and the horse, and when they show up to say that these are the 4 horses that are on the property.
yeah, I'm okay doing that.
Is that
Yeah, because I
acceptable?
think it's only gonna be I don't wanna say, maybe a few years, I don't wanna say that.
Grove Hill over there, be nice.
Right. Hopefully they live forever. But
That would be the mini.
I think I would be acceptable to that, I mean,
Yeah.
and you've met all the other conditions, you said Jared has already been out?
Yeah. Yeah, Jared and I spent about an hour and a half going over things and
Perfect,
exchanging advice as well.
okay,
And,
and is this little barn up yet or no?
no.
No, but they're just
that-
gonna graze for now until you'll have enough
Well,
winter?
it's not gonna be an immediate thing. We wanna get everything in place before we do that. They can't, I mean, he's flexible about it, but in my view, they can't be there until Jared says they can be there.
Right,
I needed some kind of assurance from the board before I go ordering, because this is not a cheap flimsy carnival tent. This is substantial to last. You know, he and I had questions about, I got the research for him, wind loading, snow loading, that sort of thing.
yeah,
Yeah, I've seen bigger ones of these going, bedded pack barns and waste storage facilities.
They're very common out west, and they have some pretty nasty weather.
Yep.
Alright,
so
what do you guys make that one?
I think I'm okay with it.
So you're good?
Yeah.
I'm good. You're good. All right. Make a motion, we approve the new stable permit for 166 Rhode Island Road, with the variance to, increase the amount of animals, but with conditions that it's only for the life expectancy of these animals. The grandfather on the permit for the lot would only carry forward with just the 2 that fits within our regulations. We're just giving that variance just for the time being for the 2 extra horses until
Yeah, temporary permit
temporary.
until the time for the extra 2.
Yes.
Do we have to say the dumpster and everything being hauled off, or is that all on there somewhere?
I think that's part of their manure management in the permit, right? So we're approving the permit. Right?
Is that all clear on that end?
Yeah, no, not everyone removes what the manure that he's gonna do, so it would be exception, so it should be in the,
Oh,
And then
Yeah.
I thought it was as part of the permit, so I didn't realize, so allowing for the dumpster for the collection of manure too,
And
To
be
be hauled off the
to be removed and hauled off property.
every 2
I
weeks.
know I put it on the application because I want to be specific about that. And the other thing that Jared and I talked about, it's going to be a covered dumpster. Because
The water.
both of us from personal experience, I was assistant farm manager out of Tufts for my entire vet school career. You don't leave manure containers open to the elements. Bad things happen.
Fly magnet. Okay,
Do we get everything?
So no, I think that was it, every 2 weeks was the
Yeah.
removal of the dumpster, okay, and covered. I think that's it.
I'll second that.
any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right,
Thank you very
Thank
much,
you.
appreciate it.
next on the agenda, review and approve meeting minutes as typed for May 21st, 2025. All 3 members were present at that meeting.
I'm good.
I reviewed them and have no issues.
I'm good.
Make a motion, we approve the Town of Lakeville Board of Health meeting minutes for May 21st, 2025 as typed.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Next on the agenda, discuss the recent Board of Health agents pending items and or announcements. I'll combine them both. Turn them over to Ed for announcements and discussion.
yeah, the only announcement is just, on the mosquitoes, yeah. Both, Lakeville is a moderate risk for both Triple E and West Nile now. We've had, there haven't been any positive samples of either West Nile or Triple E in Lakeville, but there have been, the state of Massachusetts now has 15 positive samples for Triple E, with a good concentration in the Bridgewater, Halifax area. So that's the most, but we actually haven't got any here, but our closest one was Rainham, so that's why they put us up to moderate, because they did get 1 sample in Rainham. Probably about half the states are in the West Nile moderate, because West Nile is all over the state. But, you know, Triple E has always been in the southeast, and it's one of the hotspot areas. But in this year, it's Bridgewater, Halifax, where they're getting most. I think last year was Carver, Middleborough, but it's usually around here somewhere.
No human cases of either yet?
No human cases of either.
No, and I think this time last year we were at high, right?
Yeah, we had a lot more positive samples, you know, and then, I forget when the first human case was, but yeah, I mean, that's usually when you get into high is when you get human cases, you know. And Carver and Middleborough are right in the area, so we were lumped into them. You know.
Okay. Is that it?
That's it.
Yes, good.
Board items?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.